One question that I ask clients as we are building up and understanding a true legacy plan to then get the estate plan to match it is, do you want to make your distributions equal? So let's say I have 4 kids, so do I want it split it up 25% per? Or if my son is doing worse than my daughter, does my son maybe get a higher percentage only because he's a little bit less well off than my daughter, who maybe married, Mark Zuckerberg or married Jeff Bezos, who I believe is on the market right now. That I'm aware of. But it's that point. So do you ever get into those types of questions with clients, or what are some of the other kind of follow-up questions that you ask that our listeners should ask themselves?
Yeah, that comes up very often, especially if you have multiple children and some of them are in different points of their life, different ages, and different financial situations. And that's and I think that's our role, is when we having these reviews is reassess your legacy / estate plan. I've had people that we've had these open dialogues and they've gone back and changed their percentages based on maybe they gave a gift to one child, right? And they wanted it to be, equal at the end, and they'll change the percentages of their beneficiaries to compensate for that, because they feel. And it starts, I think a lot of times it's an open conversation. It's a lot of times you have to talk with your children about this, and yes. I think that's difficult for some people. But I always say, when you're gone, it's at that point, it's what the law reads, right? It's what the trust reads. There's nothing that can be changed. And having a open conversation about your children, I think, makes it most transparent and easiest to do that. In setting expectations, a lot of people that I'll sit with, they say, listen, I don't expect to get inheritance, but I think it may be there, right? And I don't want anyone to expect something, but you have to plan for it being there. And then it goes into, well, I have 3 different buckets of money. What is the most efficient bucket to leave a child? And then we get into, the taxable accounts versus the non-taxable accounts. You have to take consideration any homes, right? Who's going to get the home? Is one child going to want to buy out the others, right? Because you might have 4 children, right? And you're going to leave them this big house. One child might be in a position where he can buy out the other 3. Maybe none of them have the financial wherewithal to do that, and they plan on selling the house. But, again, you got to give them that conversation to say, this is what's going to happen. How do we best want to address that? Because when you're mourning, it's tough to make clear decisions about that. And you don't want to be put in a predicament where you have to, do a quick estate sale and lose, money and have emotion tied to it. And then obviously that can have ramifications on family, dynamics.
Harmony.
Yeah.
I always use that term, family harmony.
And so that's where it comes into having an open dialogue. And a lot of times when they draw up these documents, I encourage them to send them to their children, right? Especially if they're naming one of their children successor trustees.